niggas tell them I rose up. I'm a survivor. Fight for my life. Coming back stronger. I will rise. I'm a survivor. Fight for my life. Coming back stronger.
What's going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new series on my channel called SaintsTalk. Now, what's going to be happening in this series is basically I'm going to be talking about Southampton, about what's gone on over the weekend, what's happening in the week, any news on Saints, any more statistics that we should be looking at, any transfers, anything that's going on in at Saints so far this season. And this is going to be a weekly series, so I hope you guys are really looking forward to seeing some more content about Saints on this channel. Before we get into the very first Saints Talk video, guys, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. We are on the road to 250 subscribers, so please do get involved. It does really help. And also, if you haven't already followed me on my social media accounts, Instagram, TikTok, and X, then please drop me a follow on all three platforms. I am very active on TikTok and Instagram, but I'm slowly getting there on X. I've only just started using it, so it's going to take me a while to get used to X. But yeah, guys, if you haven't already followed me on my social medias, the links will be in the description, and also I'll be putting the my account names in the video so you guys can all go and follow me on my accounts. So yeah, let's get straight into the very first Saints Talk video. In today's episode of Saints Talk, we'll be looking at the JURIC situation. We'll be looking at some Saints stats so far this season. And on TikTok, to kick off my very first Saints Talk video, I asked all of my Saints followers on TikTok to drop me any questions that they would like me to answer, and I will be doing that. I will be answering some questions that were given to me on TikTok during this very first Saints Talk episode. Let's get straight into them. So let's kick off with this Saints Talk episode. We're talking about the JURIC situation. So this came out yesterday from Jack Rosser, and he's basically put out a post that could hint something really good that could be happening next season. He's basically put out saying that Southampton are looking to potentially part ways with JURIC in the summer and potentially bring in Danny ROHL as a new Southampton manager next season. Now, this could be very interesting. This season, JURIC hasn't had the greatest season with Saints, let's be honest. Ever since he's come in, he hasn't really gotten us a lot of wins. He's gotten us one win under his belt, a couple of draws, but the rest have all been losses. It's not really been very good for JURIC this season, and you can sort of tell the players don't really want to play for him. And I know that's hard to see because of, he's only been here for like 10, 11 games, but with the way the players are playing, the way when you're watching the matches, you can kind of tell, you can just see that some of them aren't really putting in a lot of effort and not really trying. They aren't really playing to their best ability that we Saints fans know they can be. You got players like Flynn Downs, Howard Bellis, you've got players like Joe Rebo, who's actually been alright this season, despite he's had a few stiff moments this season, but overall I think he's actually performed alright. But then you've got players like Flynn Downs, Howard Bellis, Adam Armstrong, players that you really know that can perform well, but so far this season they haven't really been performing up to their best abilities, have they? And bringing in Danny ROHL next season could change a lot. He knows the club. He was with us when we were under Ralph Hasenhüttl, so he already knows the club. A lot of us Saints fans are probably really excited to have Danny ROHL as our new manager. I certainly am. Look at what he's doing with Sheffield Wednesday. Last season, at about Christmas time, Sheffield Wednesday were pretty much dead and buried. They were on such low points, and they were so far away from survival, and Danny Roll came in and did the unthinkable and kept Sheffield Wednesday up, which was an incredible achievement. I believe Sheffield Wednesday fans, if you're watching this, I think you guys can all agree that you guys are absolutely over the moon with Danny Roll for that. He's just kept you guys up. What do you want? And this season, look at where they are now. They're in a playoff race. They're at least 12th, 13th in the championship table. Mathematically, they can definitely reach the playoffs. I have a small feeling that they probably won't, and they'll just miss out on the playoffs. But it's not impossible that they make the playoffs. They definitely can if they can keep up their really good form. If they can win more games, they'll definitely get in there. And I think Danny Roll for us next season could do really, really well for us. But it all depends, doesn't it? Because we need the transfer window to go right. We need everything to go right in the summer, especially getting rid of players that don't really care too much for a club, getting rid of players that aren't really good enough for our club at the moment, and bringing players that we actually do need. And I believe Danny Roll will do that for us next season. Like I said, he already knows the club. He was with us when we were under Hassan Hootel, so he probably already knows what kind of players that we need in order to do really well in the championship next season, and I really believe he could do well for us next season. Guys, share your thoughts in the comments. What are your thoughts? Do you think even JURIC should go? Do you think he should stay? And what are your thoughts on potentially bringing in Danny Roll in the summer? I'm really looking forward to that. Next up, we're going to turn our attention to some of the questions that were asked in the TikTok video that I said, where I asked them to put some questions in the comments so I can answer them in this video. And so, let's get started. So the first one comes from my good friend Rods. He says, should Sports Republic sell up and move on from Saints? For me, it really depends. You have to give them a chance. I think in the summer, especially. Yes, we've been left in a right state at the moment, especially this season. Sports Republic's transfer business hasn't been too great. It wasn't really a convincing summer transfer window, and again, the January transfer window wasn't too convincing either. And some of their appointments with the managers, like bringing in the likes of Nathan Jones, Russell Martin was good because he got us up to the Premier League. He got us 25 unbeaten, but then like this season in the Premier League, it didn't really work out for him, so he had to leave. And again, they've now made another mistake bringing in even JURIC, and even JURIC, he confuses me because in the beginning, when he first came in, he said that he was going to get us more aggressive, more together. He knows the players, but they don't know him. It was that sort of thing. But at the moment, he hasn't really done much better than Russell Martin, if we're being honest, has he? But I think we should all give him a chance. If the business goes well in the summer and we're able to do well next season, then we can sort of turn our attention away from it and be like, do you know what? Last season was just a bit of a mistake. We can just let him off for that. But if it goes wrong again, then we might have to worry about him a little bit, because it will get worrying if the summer transfer window is wrong again. So I don't think we should set up. I don't think Sports Republic should set up just yet. I think we should give them a chance in a summer transfer window and then the January transfer window next season, and then just see where we go from there. Okay, so the next batch of questions comes from a good friend of mine on TikTok now called SFC Edits. He's put like 3 questions here, so I'm going to answer all of them. So the first question is opinions on Will Smallbone. Now, I quite like Will Smallbone. I really love him. He played a real big part in our promotion season last season, and he did really, really well for us. No, he struggles in the Premier League though, doesn't he? He's not exactly the strongest player. A prime example of that was when we played Chelsea and he tried to defend the goal from Christopher Nkunku, and Christopher Nkunku just basically shrugged Will Smallbone off and was able to score that goal. But I quite like Will Smallbone. He can play really well. He is a good player. He does have some quality in him, but maybe that quality is only championship level at the moment. He does still have a lot to improve on, especially when it comes to Premier League level. He needs to work on his strength a little bit. He needs to work on his defending just a little bit because, Christopher Nkunku found it really easy to get past Will Smallbone when he scored that goal. So, yeah, I really like Will Smallbone. He's one of our own. I definitely don't think that he should have got cheered off. I believe it was either against Bournemouth or Brighton when he got cheered off. I don't think that was really needed. You just don't do that to your players, especially when they come from your academy. Yeah, I like Will Smallbone. He's one of our own, and I do hope we keep him next season. He'll play a real big role for us again, and I believe if we do get Danny Roll, or even if we keep even JURIC, both of them will probably see Will Smallbone as an important player for us next season. So yeah, quite like Will Smallbone. The next question from SFC Edits is, who do you think will leave at the end of the season? Now, I've already made a video about this, which was Southampton players stay, loan, or leave. If you haven't seen that video, please go check it out. It is about 47 minutes long, but it's all about my thoughts and opinions on those players. But who do I think will leave at the end of the season? I think you've got a few obvious ones there. You've got Ramsdale will probably get picked up by a bigger club like Newcastle because they were linked with him at some point in January as well. Tyler Dibbling maybe. Walker Peters will probably go because he hasn't signed a new contract. I think you could also look at potentially Mateus Fernandes, Onuachu. I really hope Sulemana doesn't go, but he probably will. You've got lots of big players like that will probably go, and it's really easy to see something like that considering the season that we're having right now. But I've got a question for you guys now. So last season when we were in the Championship, we expected lots of our good players to go. We expected James Ward-Prowse to go, Lavia to go. We expected Sulemana to probably go, Onuachu, Walker Peters, and we actually ended up keeping Walker Peters. He was someone that we expected to go, and he surprisingly stayed with us, and he played a real big role with us last season. So here's my question for you guys. Who do you think will be that surprise player this time? Who do you think will be expected to leave, but surprisingly stay? For me, I'm probably going to lean towards Mateus Fernandes. I guess he is probably one of the favourites to leave because of how good he is. He's been really good for us this season. He's put in so many good performances. He has had the odd, he has had that odd off day, but overall I think he's been really good. But if I'm going to pick a player that will probably be the one to surprisingly stay with us, I'd probably say Fernandes. If I was Saints, I probably wouldn't want to get rid of him straight away because we've only just bought him, we've only just signed him at the club. So yeah, I'll probably go with Mateus Fernandes. But who is your pick? Who do you think will be the one to surprisingly stay next season? But yeah, overall, I think the ones to leave will probably be Ramsdale, Walker Peters because he hasn't signed a new contract. Bella Kotchap, forgot to mention him. He'll probably leave. Ugachukwu, he'll probably go back to Chelsea. Mateus Fernandes, even though I said he'll probably be my surprise package to surprisingly stay, I think he definitely has a chance of going. You got Tyler Dibbling as well, Onuachu, and possibly Sulemana. And I know it's really possible that not every single one of them will leave. I think we'll keep like 2 or 3 of them, but there's a big chance, especially with the season that we've got right now, that a lot of them will probably want to leave. But yeah, those are my picks to leave. Who are yours? The final question from SSC Edits is, who actually cares about playing for Saints? Now, like about a month or 2 ago, I probably picked like 6 players or so, but at the moment I think you can only pick 2 specific players that actually do play like they care for the club, and that's Ramsdale and Fernandes. Let's start with Fernandes then, since I've already talked about him earlier in the video. Fernandes, week in, week out, he puts in so many good performances. He's easily our best player on the field. I know you could also argue with Ramsdale, but out of all the players that are actually playing on the field and not a goalkeeper, Fernandes is our best player because every week he puts in like 9 to 10 out of 10 performances. We can't ask for much more of him. He can't do it all on his own. He's a very, very good player, but he can't do it on his own. You guys have to help him out. Fernandez for me is a brilliant, brilliant player. If we could have like 10 Fernandezes on that field, we'd probably be in no man's land on that Premier League table. But it doesn't really work like that, does it? But trust me, the players really do need to help him out because he can't play. He can't do everything on his own. As good as he is, he can't do. He can't run up, defend. He can't do everything on his own. Yeah, for me, Fernandez is one of those that do care for the club, and the other one, Ramsdale. You can see his passion each week. I feel sorry for the guy because the guys in front of him are just not defending properly. You got even JURIC who's put in front of him, against Chelsea, what was that lineup? You got Joe Rebo, who is a midfielder playing in centre back. What's that about? You got Bella Kotchap, who yes is good, but he hasn't played for us in over 1.5 to 2 years. So obviously he's going to just struggle to find his feet again during that game. And also you got James Brew, who is a right back and not a centre back, and he's playing him at centre back. It's really weird. But he's got all those players in front of him, and they're not even defending properly. And Ramsdale, I know he cares about the club because you can see it on his face. You can see the passion that he wants to give for the club. He gives his all every single game. And, again, it's not his fault. Maybe he should have done better with a couple of the goals that we can see. But, a lot of the blame is to be put on the players in front of him, because they can't defend properly. And so I'm saying that the ones that actually care for playing about Saints are Ramsdale and Fernandez. And another one that you could probably pick out is Taylor Hall-Bears, because every time he plays, he always brings out the passion. He's like, oh yeah, come on guys. But again, his performance have been quite hit and miss as well. So yeah, the players that actually care about playing for Saints for me at the moment are Ramsdale and Fernandez. Who do you guys think actually cares about playing for the Saints? Who are your picks there? Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at on this episode of Saints Talk is some Saints stats, and some of these are quite alarming. It basically shows exactly how bad our season has gone this season and how poor our performances have been. So far this season, Southampton have, let's get it all down, played 27 matches in the Premier League, just like everybody else. But across the board, we've only had 2 wins, really bad, 3 draws, and 22 losses. That is very, very bad. That there just shows. Sorry, guys. That there just shows how bad our season has been this season. So overall, we've scored 19 goals overall and conceded 65. That is horrendous. I'm going to kept 2 clean sheets all season. That right there just instantly shows how bad our season has been. 27 matches, wins 2, draws 3, losses 22. Goals scored 19, goals conceded 65, and only 2 clean sheets. That is bad. That's really bad. Right, let's look at the individual stats now. Let's look at the attack. So again, we've only scored 19 goals all season. Goals per match, 0.70. That is horrific. Just shows how poor we've been on the pitch this season. Overall we've had 255 shots and only 83 of them were on target. That's horrendous as well. Shooting accuracy, 33%. Very poor again. Penalties scored 0. So out of all the penalties that we've had this season, we haven't scored a single one of them. And some of you may argue that the penalty that the goal that Adam Armstrong scored against Liverpool was a penalty. It wasn't. It was basically a rebound, and he basically folded up and scored with it. So that didn't really count as a penalty. Big chances created, 34. Only 34. That's horrific as well. And we've hit the woodwork 7 times. So we've come close to scoring a few times, But again, our shots and our big chances created, we just waste so many chances. It's horrific. Okay, team play now. Passes completed the entire season, 12,886. So we're really good with passes, even though some of our passes can be quite bad at times. We really mess up on like the easiest passes, but overall, all the passes that we've completed, 12,886, pretty good when it comes to passes. Passes per match, 477.26. Again, it's still good on the passes. Pass accuracy, 86%. So that there just shows how good we are at passes. We are quite good at passing the ball to each other. Crosses, 413. Just proves how much we don't utilize Paul Onuachu that much. We try to use him, but they never really give him the correct service with the ball, do they? And they never really give Onuachu the actual things that he needs to be able to score the goals. And then our cross accuracy, 23%. So we're quite poor at crosses, to be fair. Defences, again, clean sheets, 2. Goals conceded, 65. That's horrific. Goals conceded per match, 2.41. That is atrocious. And all of our performances and all of our results so far this season, that just sums it all up. That shows how bad we are. Quite a lot of the time this season, we've conceded 3 or more goals in so many matches that we've had this season. The past 3 matches just speak for themselves. 3-1 at home against Bournemouth, a 4-0 loss to Brighton, and a 4-0 loss to Chelsea. That right there is already 11 goals conceded in 3 matches. That's horrific. Saves by Ramsdale, all our goalkeepers that have played this season, 123. So the goalkeepers have had to save 123 shots. That this shows how poor we are defensively as well. Tackles are 469. Tackle success, 58%. Block shots, 90. Interceptions, 223. Clearances, 636. Headed clearances, 281. Aerial battles and duels won, 1,682. Pretty good when it comes to aerial battles. But here we go. This is the alarming one. Errors leading to goals, 19. The most of any Premier League team this season. That's horrific. And that right there just shows how that right there just leads to all those goals that we've conceded this season. So many errors leading to a goal. That's horrific. Good thing is we haven't scored any own goals this season, but that's not the point. We need to be scoring goals for ourselves, and we need to stop making so many errors. Pass the ball to someone who you can definitely pass the ball to. Stop passing it to someone where you're like, maybe I could pass it to that guy, and then you instantly give it away. And I'm going to say this, right? If there's any table that was about like teams that give the ball away so much, we would be at the top of that table. We'd be first for everything in that. We give the ball away so much. That's how come we've had so many errors leading to goals. Because every time we try to defend, every time we try to pass, we always give it away. And that's how come things like Brighton, Newcastle, Bournemouth, that's how come those guys were able to score so quickly, and Chelsea as well. That's how come those teams were able to score so quickly, because we kept giving the ball to them. We were basically creating their chances for them. We weren't really doing ourselves any favour. Discipline now. Yellow cards, 74. Red cards, 3. 2 of them being Jack Stevens, I believe. Fouls, 170. And offsides, 36. So we're very good at going offside, aren't we? Especially Adam Armstrong. If there's someone that I always see go offside when it comes to Southampton, it's Armstrong. He's always in an offside position, but especially in the Premier League. But yeah, all those stats just sum up how poor our season's been this season. It has been horrific, and I believe all Saints fans can agree that this is easily our worst season as a Saints fan ever. You know, we thought that the season that we went back down to the championship a couple of seasons ago was bad. This just tops it all. You know, I don't think during that season we had any stats as bad as this. You know, we had way more than 2 wins. We sort of had the same amount of losses, but we didn't concede at least 65 goals already. That's horrific. And I believe we had more than 2 clean sheets that season. You know, we didn't have as many errors in goals that season either. We were better when it comes to our shots, better defensively, even though we placed bottom that season as well. We were definitely way better that season than we are this season. This just tops it all, doesn't it? It just shows how bad our season has been. And, you know, all of our Saints fans are just praying that we have a really, really good season next season. Everything gets sorted out in the right way, especially in the summer. You know, get rid of the players that don't want to play for the club. Get rid of the players that haven't really been up to it this season. And, you know, if there are players that stay next season that were quite poor this season, then improve them. Try and help them improve their skills. You know, we know they can do it, but at the moment it seems as though they don't want to do it, if I'm being honest. But yeah, guys, that wraps up the very first episode of Saints Talk. Sorry if some of it was a bit of a waffle. It's my very first time doing it, so yeah. The more I do these, the better I'll probably get it. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the very, very first episode of Saints Talk. And remember to like, subscribe, and follow me on all my social media platforms. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.